Section 6 of the Doctrine and Covenants is going to introduce us to one of the greatest and most influential people in the whole history of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, a man named Oliver Cowdery. This is where Oliver enters the scene, is on this section. Just a quick review of the timeline. Oliver is going to show up right here around April of 1829. As Joseph Smith had resumed sporadic translation with other various scribes after Martin Harris lost the 116 pages. Emma Smith scribed for him for a little bit. His little brother Samuel Smith scribed. His brother-in-law Reuben Hale scribed. But as Joseph Smith was scribing, he had been told in a revelation in March of 1829, this is going to be section 5, look what the Lord says to him, "Stop for a season, even until I command thee again, that thou mayest translate again." In other words, stop translating. "Stand still until I command thee, and I will provide means whereby thou mayest accomplish the thing which I have commanded thee." These means is going to come in the form of Oliver Cowdery. And there's an actual photograph of Oliver Cowdery, who became the scribe who wrote the majority of the Book of Mormon. Well, how did Oliver Cowdery get there, and how did he start scribing for Joseph Smith? Let's talk a little bit about what happened. Oliver comes in contact with the Smith family when he comes up here and teaches school in the Manchester area. Joseph's parents living in Palmyra, Oliver Cowdery went and boarded with them, meaning he lived with them while he was a school teacher up there. He had heard of Joseph in the Book of Mormon, and when he was with the Smith parents, he asked particularly Joseph Smith Sr. about it. And Joseph Smith Sr. told Oliver to obtain his own witness of it. At the time, Joseph's living down here in Harmony, Pennsylvania, over 100 miles away. So Oliver Cowdery is going to approach the Lord on his own while he's living with the Smith parents to ask about the work that their son was doing. And these are in Oliver Cowdery's own words. Quote, "He was impressed that he should yet have the privilege of writing for Joseph." Of this experience, of what happened to Oliver, Joseph later said, Joseph's going to learn this much later. Joseph later said, quote, "The Lord appeared unto Oliver Cowdery, and shewed unto him the plates in a vision, and therefore he was desirous to come and write for me to translate." I bet if the Lord showed me the plates in a vision, I'd be desirous to translate as well. So right when school gets over, Oliver Cowdery hears that Joseph's little brother Samuel is going to travel down to Harmony to spend the spring with Joseph. And he says, "I want to go with you." He arrives there, and Joseph and Oliver talk about his experiences late in the evening. Oliver does not share the vision with him, though. And then they attend to some business. And then notice this. And on Tuesday, April 7th, 1829, after only knowing Joseph for 2 days, Oliver Cowdery began scribing for Joseph Smith as he resumed translating the Book of Mormon. Section 6 is going to come about while Oliver Cowdery is there with Joseph sometime right at the beginning of the translation. It seems when you read section 6 that although Oliver had had some personal experiences, when he gets there, he begins to question again what he's doing. I mean, think about this. You're with a person that you hardly know, spending day after day after day, writing. It's unpaid. There's little food available, little resources. You're in a tiny house in the middle of Pennsylvania, and I think doubts begin to question and creep back into Oliver Cowdery's mind. And this is when the Lord brings this revelation to Joseph Smith, section 6 of the Doctrine and Covenants, and you'll see within this section the Lord address Oliver Cowdery's apparent doubts. After section 6 is received, Oliver confides to Joseph, as you can see here, about his experience he had had back in Joseph's parents' home in Palmyra. Joseph wrote about this. "After we had received this revelation of section 6, he, Oliver, stated to me that after he had gone to my father's to board, and after the family communicated to him concerning my having got the plates, that one night after he had retired to bed, he called upon the Lord to know if these things were so, and that the Lord had manifested to him that they were true, but that he, Oliver, had kept the circumstance entirely secret, and had mentioned it to no being, so that after this revelation, section 6, having been given, he knew that the work was true, because that no being living knew of the thing alluded to in the revelation but God and himself." And Oliver later says that in a letter he writes to David Whitmer, saying, "I know this work is true because Joseph Smith has told me through revelation things that only God knew." As you study section 6, pay attention to how the Lord addresses this concern that Oliver has, recalls his spiritual experiences that he's had in the past, and also pay attention to some of the great teachings that are in here about revelation and about how revelation comes and about how the Lord works with us in our minds and in our hearts.